How's it going, folks? You'll have to excuse the voice. I've picked up some more crud. I guess that's just the life of a elementary school teacher. But today, getting to do something that I have wanted to do for a very long time. And just a couple of videos ago, I mentioned this that I was dumping out some grain out of 50-pound sacks into some buckets, and I was saying how I would really like to not have to deal with those bags anymore. And got to talking to some buddies of mine that buy feed in bulk, and then my cousin David actually went and bought one of the little feed wagons that I had mentioned in that video that you can pull behind your truck, and they're going to be delivering it to him. But I don't have one of those wagons, and I'm probably not going to get one. I've got another trick up my sleeve that I'll share with you here in just a little while. But I can go to the farm supply business that makes the feed, mixes the feed, and sells it in bulk. I can go to them and get the big bulk bags. I think it's a 2,000-pound bag. I think it's a ton bag, but when I was talking to the fellow that owns it, I was talking to him the other day. They only put 1,000 pounds in the bag, just so that it's a little bit easier to manage, he said, and it's not quite as full and hard to deal with. So today, I'm just going over here to pick up 1,000 pounds, and then for this go round, I'm not going to be doing anything fancy with it. But going down the line, I've got a trick. And I'm going to put a picture up here of what my plan is. I'll put that right up in here somewhere. So I've got one of these IBC tanks or IBC totes, whatever you want to call them. I've got one of them ready for me to pick up that a buddy has for me. Just got to get it good and cleaned out, and going to be setting that up. But as for today, we're just going to be setting that off in the barn, getting the feed out of the sacks with buckets, and I think that'll work out just perfectly fine. But you know, I'm not even that far away from this place, and I've never even been there before. I just took some clothes with me to school, changed my classroom, and left straight from school because it's kind of on this end of the county, and it's going to take me 20 minutes to get there from my school, so it's not really that it's too far out of the way. Why we've never done this before, I have no idea, but I'm excited to go save some money. Well, made it back over here. So here's what we've got. This is a 2,000-pound bulk sack, and like I was saying earlier, it's only filled up halfway. And I'm having a hard time even remembering what all is in this feed. But the crazy thing about this is not only am I saving a ton of money by doing this, but this feed is so much better than what I was feeding. So the stuff that's in here, and I know I'm missing something. The dark pellets are soybean hulls. I'm not 1,000% sure what the big pellets there are. There's distiller's grain, looks like some kind of oat right there. There's corn. I think there were 5 different things. Now I'm having a hard time remembering what all 5 were right now off the top of my head, but it comes out to be a 15% protein feed, where what I was feeding was 13. So I had done some research on that feed that I had been giving them, and from what I've seen, the 13% feed really isn't even that 13%, or from what I had been told from people, the kind that I had was not really 13%. And the research that I had seen was that excuse me, that even on a 13% feed, it's pretty impossible to have them make a lot of progress in far as gaining weight on a 13% feed. It's more of the bare minimum to just kind of keep them where they're at, that kind of deal, which isn't what I want, you know? So I'm excited that this is 15, and I'm excited that there's all sorts of different ingredients in there that they're going to enjoy. That's the biggest thing, is that they're going to really like it, I think. The biggest problem now is figuring out, am I actually going to be able to get it off the truck? So when he loaded it, he loaded it by running these. There's 4 loops on each corner of the bag, and he loaded it with pallet forks and put these 2 loops over here on one fork and these 2 loops over here on one fork. Well, my pallet forks are on the little tractor down at the corn maze in town, so that's not going to work. So here's what I'm thinking might work, is run the loops over the spear, drive it on up, put those 2 loops on the spear. I don't know. I hope it works, and hopefully I don't break the spear of the tractor. I know the spear on the other tractor had like a 1,500 pound lift capacity or something like that. So hopefully this one's the same, because I'm going to pick up 1,000 pounds with it. So let's hope it'll do it. All right. Pulled up a little bit. So now I'm going to go out here and put the next loops on the front of the spear. Well, it did reach. I think this will work fine. And then as I pick it up, I can tilt it back and slide these loops down here where the spear's thicker. I think that's going to work. Tell you one perk of working at a school, you get some free buckets from the cafeteria. That's a plus. Well, here comes Josh, so that'll help. It might be a good idea too to go ahead and pull my truck closer to where I need to put it in the barn. That way I'm not bouncing with the tractor getting it on out there. So wait and let Josh get up here and we'll regroup and see what we do here. Well, so what we've decided to do is to just pull the truck right next to the door of the barn that we're going to stick it in. And then that way we don't have to worry about, you know, it bouncing up and down and worry about breaking something. Just in case. Just in case. So the little IBC tote that I was telling you we were thinking about getting and making us a little more of a waterproof, rodent-proof container. We were just looking, and we think it might fit right inside that doorway too, and still just keep it in that barn so it's out of the weather, and still use one of those totes. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a week or two before we are able to work on that whole tote thing. I'm going to be leaving to go out of town in the next couple of days, and then when I get back, we'll try to mess with that. Well, that's a quick commute for some feed. That ain't bad. So I already realized that I'm going to have an issue, and that is that I need me another bucket to scoop it out of here with, because by the time I get to the end, I'm not going to have another bucket. So I found this little tiny fencing staple bucket, and I'm going to use it to probably fill up the last remaining bit. Man, that is good looking stuff. Does smell good. So that third bucket, I got probably 3/4 of the way full. I'm just going to take this little guy and a few scoops to finish it off. All right. There we go. Kind of hard to see back there. Decided I was going to grab one more trough to pull out here. Make it easy. 3 buckets and 3 troughs. So let's see how these girls like this stuff. I bet they're going to love it.
I think so. Half the price and better grain.
Yeah. Did you smell it?
Yeah.
Well, seems like a success. Seems like they're really enjoying it. And I bet they do, because it smells fantastic. Let's go close these gates and head back home to little Lucy. Well, it's a pretty good lick, as Dad used to say. That makes me feel good, saving a bunch of money. And when I say saving a bunch of money, I'm talking half the cost. Half. I just did the math on it for 1,000 pounds. It's literally what I was spending was double the price of what this was for 1,000 pounds. And you know, I wasn't buying 1,000 pounds at a time, but I was buying, you know, a couple hundred pounds at a time just because it was easy. But I mean, heck, for half the price and better feed, yeah, count me in. Folks, we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully we're going to get this little project started of saving us some feed from mice and from other little critters getting into it. But that'll be a few days from now, because I'm headed to Disney World. See you on the next one.